Happy fall, y'all. It may be August. Well, you might be seeing this in September actually, so it's like for sure fall. But to me, once Spirit Halloween opens, it's the fall time. I love to go Halloween hunting, whether it be in July or August, and I'm very excited to match that vibe with the books I'm reading. So this is going to be like my fall TBR, so September, October, November, and I will definitely be reading other things in addition to these books, but these are my fall vibe priority when I need the ambiance, when I need to really feel the leaves falling off the trees and crunching underfoot. These are the books. A lot of these are also books that I've been putting off for a while. So 2 birds, no stones, because I'm not going to throw stones at birds, but you get the vibe. And this is in no particular order because I don't feel like ordering them. But first, we're going to talk about Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid. I believe that this is like a gothic horror fantasy situation. It's a standalone, and I actually haven't read anything by Ava Reid. A Study in Drowning and like that whole series doesn't really look like it's for me, but this does. This for sure does. This is about a young, it is a gothic horror. It's about a young witch who seeks to discover her identity and escape the domination of her ruthless wizard father. Yeah, like major daddy issues and a gothic horror. It sounds like it'll be for me. And I don't know, I just think that this is going to fit perfectly. And a few of the booktubers that I follow really like this book, so I'm extra excited. And it's been on my TBR for far too long, like years at this point. And I've read most of the books that have been on my TBR for more than a year, so we're getting there. And then we have House of Bone and Rain by Gabino Iglesias. I'm very excited for this one. I haven't read anything by Gabino Iglesias, and every single of his books, everyone seems to just love him and love his writing and love the stories. I know that this is more of like a grief horror, but I love a grief horror. I don't know if this is necessarily fall inspired or anything like that. I do think I see palm trees, but I really want to read a Gabino Iglesias this fall, and this is the only book that I have on my physical TBR, so it'll be nice to, address the physical TBR as well. All of the books, I think, on this list, I own. This is Stand By Me with a Haunted Obsidian Dark Heart. A group of young men seek vengeance after one of their mothers is murdered in a Puerto Rican slum. This is going to be a tough read, but I am really excited about it, and that's all I really have to say, I guess. This is about a group of young men, and one of their mothers was murdered in the slum that they live in Puerto Rico. This is going to be a very tough read, and I am very excited about it. It will be a different kind of hard than just like a scary book, so it might break up some of like the general horror that I have to read. Oathbound, while I feel like the Legendborn cycle is very fall to me, like the going back to school, the academia of it all, and all of the like demons and creatures also feel pretty fall to me. This is mostly on my list so that I can read it. I've been putting it off since it came out. I'm about a quarter of the way through it, and it has just been really stressing me out. So it will be great to finally get to it. This Cursed House by Del Sandine. I want to read this for a few reasons. I bought it recently and I'm excited about it. I don't know that I necessarily have any other haunted house stories on my list. I want to do a video kind of like picking one of everything that is very like Halloween-y, and haunted house is definitely one of them. Also, this is the only book that was written by a Black author that made it on the horror ballot for the Goodreads Choice Awards last year. Not even just a Black woman, just a Black author in general, which not surprising for the Goodreads Choice Awards, but disappointing nonetheless. So I'm very excited about it, and I've heard good things about it. Not from everybody for sure, but from a couple of the people that I feel like my taste really aligns with them. It's a Southern Gothic horror debut about a young Black woman who abandons her life in 1960s Chicago for a position with a mysterious family in New Orleans. Only to discover the dark truth, they're under a curse and they think that she can break it. So I have loved everything that I know about this book. I think that it will definitely be the right vibe, probably more for October. This definitely feels like an October book to me. Then we have The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This is another new release of the year. I still haven't read anything by Joe Abercrombie, but I know that there's like levity and humor in this book, and I think that will be a good mix into all of the other like heavier books that I have picked out. And I think that it just looks fall to me, and like all of the end paper art and all of that. Like, you can't tell me that that's not super fall to you. Holy work sometimes requires unholy deeds. It's, I think, kind of a bit of an adventure story about a bunch of anti-heroes who are forced together to achieve a goal or a quest or a duty, and that's just really for me. Like, that sounds like all of the buzzwords that I enjoy. I have definitely heard mixed things about this book, but someone who we often disagree on fantasy books did not like this, so I think that it will probably be for me. I read Hex last year and I loved it. I thought it was genuinely scary, one of the only genuinely scary horror books that I've read last year. So I'm excited to read more from Thomas Oldhuville, and I know he's coming out with a new one, but I feel like I should go chronologically for what he's published. And so the next one for me is Echo, and I'm very excited to get to this. I don't even know what it's about. I don't know if it's a continuation of Hex. I thought they were like, I don't know if they're standalones that are connected or what's happening, but I did think that they were related somehow. I think that this is about an evil forest, and I was incredibly disappointed with this Wretched Valley, so I'm hoping that this fulfills that itch for evil forest vibes. And then this one I've heard nothing about. I saw it in a used bookstore and I've seen it a couple more times now, but I hadn't seen it before. And this cover, she's stunning. It's so good. And I want to read you the blurb by Nicola Barker because I read it and I was like, oh, I need that. The Obscene Bird of Night is totally and unapologetically psychotic, insanely gothic, brilliantly engaging, exquisitely written, filthy, sick, terrifying, supremely perplexing, and somehow connives to make the brave reader feel like a tiny sleeping gnat being sucked down a fabulously kaleidoscopic dream plug hole. Like, what do you even say to that? I don't think anyone has ever said anything that nice about me. So I'm very excited to get to this book. I know that it's like super duper gothic, and it's a translated book, which I tend to like those. I know that it's not like something you can lump all translated works into, but the books that tend to get translated into English that feel just like very weird to me, I usually enjoy. So I have hopes for this one. And then we have a book that I've also been putting off for a really long time, years, because it does scare me. Not because it's scary, but because it's intimidating, and that's House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I'm going to buddy read this someone, and it's less of like a buddy read situation and more just like a space to commiserate the obscenities and complexities of this book, because it's just so, it's so weird. Like, let me just open to a random page. It's just incredibly unusual to read, and I'm quite excited to do it. I love a puzzle or like an escape room, super my vibe, and I think that this is, to put it in a horror category, a haunted house story. So I'm very excited about it, but it just has felt very intimidating. I think having a buddy will make this so incredibly much easier. I think I'm gonna save this for October too, though. I think that'll be the right timing for it. I know I've only mentioned October. Some of these will have to be read in September and November. That's fine, but this needs to be read in October. Then we have Circe, which I believe is a witchy story. I haven't read anything by Madeline Miller, but I know that her writing is beautiful and also heartbreaking. I haven't heard the best things about this one, but I think that since it is fall now, I think my time has passed for the Song of Achilles, and it's time for Circe to shine. And I think this is about the Odyssey too, which I don't know that I've read, but I'm intrigued. I think the foiling is coming off on this, but that won't affect my reading experience. It's actually fine. This book I think is the one that I've been putting off the longest, and that's A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I have heard that this is really slow and kind of boring, which I think is the big reason that I've been putting it off, but a couple of people in my life actually told me that they enjoyed it, and maybe it's worth it. But if I don't like it, that means I get to get rid of 3 books instead of just 1, because I have the first 3. But this is set in Oxford. I think it's going to be like dark academia and witchy. I think getting it on audio will probably be helpful for me if it is a little slow and boring, because then I can do another thing while reading it. So I think that's my plan. It's probably pretty backed up on Libby, but we'll see. And then we have The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I think that this is historical horror. I think that's usually pretty true for Alexis Henderson. And I've heard really good things about this one and A House of Hunger, which I believe is vampires. But I guess I'm just like in my witchy era. Maybe I should do a witch vlog. That would be really fun. I feel like all of these books give really incredibly different vibes, so they will all be going together now that we've decided that. Thank you so much. And honestly, I don't really want to know more than I already do about this book, so I am not going to read the synopsis on the back. I think, like a lot of movie trailers and stuff these days, books, the synopses on the back are giving away too much, and it is ruining my enjoyment because like I already know kind of what's going to happen, like far too much. I don't need to know that much about a book to know if I'm interested in it or not. I can decide for myself after I've read it a bit if it's going to be for me. I don't need you to list out every single trope or anything on it. And obviously this is not about trigger warnings. Trigger warnings should be in books, but I can choose to skip that if I would like to. When I am reading what the book is about on the back of the book, that's just different. And then we have the Shepherd King duology. It's very exciting because Rachel Gillick is coming to Rose City Comic Con, so I will probably try to get these signed. I did enjoy The Night and the Moth, but I didn't love it. I was not obsessed with it. I'm hoping that I'm going to be obsessed with these. I think these might be more my speed. I think the magic system sounds really cool, like the card-based magic system. And I know that some people like 2 a lot better than they like 1, which I think is really interesting. So I'm going to give both of these a try unless I really hate book 1. So I'm going to put both of them on my TBR. And I know you see tabs in these. They're not my tabs. I got them off of Pango from a friend, and I wanted her to leave them in because I'm a nosy person. So I will get to see what she tabbed, which is fun. And I might re-tab them. We'll see. But very excited for these and the reading experience that they will be. I think that it is the right amount of gothic and the right amount of plot. Something that I think gothic books really struggle with for me personally is that they're just too slow and too worried about setting the gothic atmosphere, and it's more vibey than plot based. And I think you can have a really good plot and it be gothic. I think both of those things can be true, and a lot of books struggle doing that. So hopefully that the Shepherd King duology hits both of those things for me. This one I'm really excited about. I know a lot of like people who I think have very different book tastes have enjoyed this. Like someone's book taste is over here and another person's book taste is over here, and they both really like this, which I think is really interesting. I know it's really weird. I know it's a little bit, parts of it can be a little bit problematic, but in the way that some characters behave, not necessarily from like the author's opinion. So I'll be interested to see how I feel about that. But this is about a super secluded library, and I think they have to figure something out. I think it's in order to get money. So that always brings out the worst in people. I bet this is really messy too. I'm very interested to see how I feel about this one. And then another book that I have been putting off for far too long, that it was one of my most anticipated releases of the year that I haven't read yet, I can't believe it, is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This should be so good. I started it. I got like the first 10 chapters in or whatever on audiobook, and it was a really good audiobook for one thing, and I was super intrigued, but I think I have to start it all the way over again because I don't remember enough. But just the way that V.E. Schwab talked about this book and her writing in general, I am just so beyond excited about it. She is such a good speaker. She has so many thoughts and feelings that she shares in such a specifically beautiful way. I can't wait to get to this one. I know that it is getting a bit of a mixed reviews, but more often than not, I tend to really like V.E. Schwab. So I'm hopeful that this is true. And it's like toxic lesbian vampires. I think you would have to really mess that up for me to not like it. That's just like, you know those videos where you like on the phone and you're pretending and you're saying the dog's favorite things? That's what this book is for me. I'm the dog with my ears perked, cocking my head. So I have high hopes that this will be good, and I don't know if it's necessarily fall, but I just really want to read it, so we're putting it on the fall TBR. The last few books are arcs, but they're all coming out this season, and they feel like they're meant for the season, so I am going to put that on my fall TBR. And that is one, An Unlikely Coven. I don't know if this is going to be too cozy witchy. I don't think so, but we'll see. And I think that it may be sapphic too, which I'm really excited about. And this comes out in October, and it's by Am Kavita. I do like the cover. I do think it's fun. The outcast daughter of a powerful family of witches returns to New York City and is immediately embroiled in a supernatural power struggle in this wickedly funny fantasy debut. And I did pick a lot of heavy things, so I think funny will go good in the full stack that I have. And it's specifically published on October 28th, 2025. And then we have this one, which I am just so excited for because I got immediately, like within minutes, denied on NetGalley for the arc of this, but then they offered to send me the arc, the physical arc. See, when I first saw this, I didn't know it, but I'm pretty sure it's a sea lion. And this is by Neil Sharpson, who also wrote Knock Knock Open Wide, which is one of my favorite horror books of the year. It was folklore, it was queer, it was great. And I don't know if this one is queer, but this is a woman who can't remember her death, an island with a terrible secret, a past that refuses to stay buried, but the sea remembers it all. I think it may be water horror or water adjacent horror. And a couple authors that I've been wanting to read blurbed this. I always like to see who blurbs it because I think that it kind of gives me a sense of the vibes that the book is going to be. And ooh, T. Kingfisher is on the front. That's a good sign. And then we have Alex Grecian, who I have a couple of their books but have not started reading from them. Nick Medina, who I also would like to read from. And then Clay McLeod Chapman, who I've only read one book from but really, really enjoyed. And this one comes out on September 9th. So that's actually very soon. I need to get to this stat. And finally, we have this brick. When it came to me in the mail, I thought it was multiple books or at the very least a hardcover, but no, it's well over 800 pages. And that is King Sorrow by Joe Hill. And if you cannot tell, it is about dragons and also a man trying to get away from like the magical mob, I think. I haven't read anything by Joe Hill. I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I'm excited to try it. It has a lot of the things that I like in it. I think that it could be really good. And also the margins are giving Priory of the Orange Tree, so I don't think it'll actually take me that long to read. I also want to get to this soon before it comes out, which is October 2025. It doesn't give me a date. Oh my god, it's like actually 900 pages. It's fine. It's fine. I can read big books. I'm a brave girl. I think that's all I can comfortably put on my fall TBR. I don't even know if I'm going to get to all of that, to be honest, because my NetGalley shelf is also overflowing. Those are the vibes I at least want to set for the season. I think they're pretty good vibes. And I'm really excited to read all of these books. I think maybe not all of them, but most of them could be 5 stars. So I'm really setting myself up for a good reading season, I hope. Because this summer was a little rough, but my summers are always a little rough for reading. They're always a little bit busier. And I'm doing other things outside. Now we're getting to the part of the Oregon summer where it's 100 degrees out and I want to be inside in the air conditioning, and then we'll transition into fall, which is just peak season for me. So that's all I got for you. I don't know, is there a sea lion emoji? Leave me a sea lion emoji for the Burial Tide if you've made it this far. Just let me know you're here, or tell me what you're reading this fall, like what you're most excited for this fall. And I will see you probably with fall recommendations if you haven't already seen that. And I hope you have just the best fall ever. I hope you get to experience pumpkin patches and apple cider and just all of the good fall things that make this season the absolute best. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.